what would a full-scale war in the Middle East actually look like? It's a pretty terrifying question. Today, we're going to break down a viral analysis that paints one hypothetical and frankly deeply alarming scenario for a conflict between the US, Israel, and Iran. So let's dive into what this source claims could happen. The whole thing kicks off, according to this analysis, with a single event that ignites the entire region: the assassination of Iran's most powerful leader, the supreme leader, in a joint strike by the US and Israel. And the retaliation? Well, it's described as being incredibly swift and shocking. In a massive counterattack, Iran reportedly unleashes a barrage of missiles, and suddenly, Dubai's most famous landmarks, like the super luxurious Burj Al Arab, are on fire. The financial shockwave, of course, is immediate. The analysis claims that markets around the world just plummet. The Indian stock market, for instance, is said to crash by over 2,700 points, just wiping out an immense amount of value in an instant. I mean, these are absolutely catastrophic outcomes. But you have to wonder, how could things possibly escalate so fast and so violently? Well, this analysis argues it really didn't happen overnight. It was a slow burn, a buildup of tension, and very specific events. All right, let's get into the timeline. The source lays out this step-by-step chain of events that it claims led directly to this full-blown war. You can see just how quickly things spiral out of control here. The source says it all starts back in June 2025 with an initial attack on Iran's nuclear sites. By December, this has apparently sparked huge protests inside Iran itself, which leads to a violent government crackdown in January. And then the final trigger, according to this, comes on February 28th, the start of the full-scale war. So what is the root cause of all this? I mean, why is this happening? The analysis argues that this entire massive confrontation really just boils down to one single, incredibly contentious issue: Iran's alleged push to build a nuclear bomb. And here is the fundamental tension. On one side, you have the US and Israel. They justify their actions by claiming Iran is secretly building a nuke, which they see as a line that just cannot be crossed. Now, what makes that fear so much worse is Iran's public rhetoric, which the source points out has included the goal to wipe Israel off the map. For Israel, that turns Iran's nuclear program into a genuine existential threat. Now, to really get a grip on Iran's strategy, you need to understand this term, proxy groups. So what are they? Basically, they're other militant groups that are funded and armed by a country, in this case, Iran, to do its fighting indirectly. The source material uses a really blunt analogy to make it simple. It calls them Gandhi, or basically hired thugs. And this right here really visualizes that strategy. The source calls it a ring of fire that Iran has allegedly built around Israel. You've got Hezbollah up in Lebanon to the north, Hamas in Gaza to the southwest, and the Houthis down in Yemen to the south. It's this strategic encirclement that's presented as the key reason why Israel feels it has to get directly involved in this war. Which brings us to a really important question. Why on earth was a global hub for business and tourism like Dubai dragged so violently into this whole mess? The answer, according to this analysis, is actually pretty simple. It's the presence of American military bases in the UAE. Iran had reportedly put out a crystal clear warning. Any country in the region that hosts the US military will become a target if a war ever breaks out. And according to the source, Iran made good on that threat. The analysis claims a just staggering wave of 541 drones were launched directly at the UAE. And it didn't even stop there. That drone attack was reportedly followed by 165 ballistic missiles. This is a combined assault that's just designed to completely overwhelm enemy defenses and cause the maximum possible damage. And to make those numbers feel real, the source actually lists the targets. We're talking about world-famous iconic landmarks, the Burj Al Arab, Dubai International Airport, the Palm Jumeirah, even the area around the Burj Khalifa. These aren't just military sites, they are symbols of global culture and commerce. Now, the fallout from an attack like this wouldn't just stay in the Middle East, not even close. Let's look at the global economic shockwaves, which all center on one tiny but absolutely critical waterway. And this right here shows you why this conflict would matter to absolutely everyone. The Strait of Hormuz, which Iran can pretty much control, is the choke point for 20% of the entire world's oil supply. Think about that. 1/5 of the global energy economy has to pass right through this potential war zone. The effect on the markets is supposedly immediate. Crude oil jumps from around $71 to $76 a barrel. But the real warning from the source is that if Iran follows through and closes the strait completely, we could see prices surging past $100 a barrel, which would trigger a massive global energy crisis. So let's bring this home. What would all of this mean for a country like India, which has such deep ties to that region? Well, the analysis lays out 4 major dangers. First off, the human cost. And this chart is it's stark. A massive 35% of the UAE's entire population is made up of Indian nationals. We're talking about 3.5 million people who would suddenly be trapped in the middle of a war. The source breaks down 4 immediate dangers for India. First is just the safety of its citizens, with flights suspended and millions stranded. Then you have the economic fallout, mass job losses in the Gulf, a crisis for all the families who depend on money sent home, and finally, a direct threat to 60% of India's oil supply. What's really crucial here is that the impact on the stock market wouldn't be the same for everybody. The sectors that rely heavily on oil, aviation, paints, cars, they're deep in the red zone. But the analysis also suggests that other sectors like defense manufacturing or maybe even IT could actually see some gains from the chaos. And the analysis wraps up with this really poignant quote, a reflection that kind of rises out of all this hypothetical chaos. It suggests that when the world gets this unstable, the thing we value most is just safety and security. It leaves us with a pretty heavy thought. In a world on fire, what is the true value of home?